Finding fish is the goal each time we hit the water, and hopefully quickly. In this video, we'll break down the best angles for searching, the water column confusion, and the biggest trap we fall into when using search baits, and a couple of bonus tips for number 4. But first, what is a search bait? Any lure that you can use to cover water and find where and how bass are positioned. The key is to cover water efficiently, and there's lots of great ones, and each angler is different, but I love to use things like swim jigs, square bills, jerk baits, and something like walking topwaters. But before you start casting, what are your goals? Do you just want to find life? Well, then I like to use something small, jig minnows, swim jigs. Do you want better quality fish? Well, now I'm searching with bigger baits like glide baits, big swim baits, that type of stuff. So identify your goals before you start casting. Number 1, let's talk about angles, specifically parallel versus perpendicular searching. I always prefer parallel. We know that bass travel edges, and the more we can parallel those edges, the more likely our lures will be in the zone longer. But it is so easy to head to the lake and always be fishing perpendicular all the time. Other terrific examples of parallel searching would be along something like the edges of weed beds. This is one of my absolute favorites. Now, as far as searching depth when fishing parallel to your target areas, I really love that swim jig because I can let it sink to the depth I want to probe and then work it back, maintaining that depth carefully. I will use it to make 3 casts down a shoreline area, searching a little deeper each time. This works so well for finding where the activity is, and then you can narrow it down. Well, number 2, the water column confusion. Now, we just touched on that a bit in the last section, but if you want to be faster, the first thing I always do when I get to a body of water is spend a few minutes cruising the shallows with my trolling motor, or if you're a shore angler, walk the bank a bit. Do you see lots of life? If yes, start searching shallow. If you see 0 life, that just helped you eliminate a lot of water, and then I start deeper. It's such a fast, effective way to narrow down the search right away. Now, before we get to number 3 in the bonus tips, I want to let you know I just dropped 3 new videos in the Bass Behavior Bundle. If you want to join our community and help support the channel, link is below. Thank you. On to number 3. It is so easy to fall into this trap when using searching lures. We end up catching 1 or 2, and then we forget about probing that area with a different presentation to see what is really going on. For example, on a trip last summer, I got some bites and swats with the swim jig, but the bass didn't hook up. I could have easily kept working that swim jig since it was getting some bites and keep working around this point. But I put it down and picked up a jig rig and immediately started to catch fish. It's super important that once you locate bass or life with the search bait, to not move on and keep searching until you do some more investigating in that spot. Fish are there for a reason. And for our bonus tips, when using these searching lures, remember to always be using that erratic, random type of action. A sick or wounded baitfish is much more likely to draw the attention of a predator, and you need to let their instincts work to your advantage. And then, if you're trying to maintain bottom contact with a searching lure, man, it's hard to beat a Carolina rig or something like a Tokyo rig. And hey, if you want to watch a video on how bass attack our lures and some of the key differences and watch footage of it happening, go ahead and check this video out right here. And make sure that you go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.